The following episode is uncensored. Listener discretion is advised. Happy birthday, America! Censorship is un-American. Go, America.
Ah, yes, here we go. Chris Griffin. Your dying wish is denied. Thank you.
Wait a minute, my son only has a short time to live. All he wants is his favorite show back on TV. How can you say no?
Mr. Griffin, everyone thinks their dying child is special. But these days, people who donate money to our foundation demand a little more bang for their buck. We need sick kids we can package. You know, like that one we put on Hollywood Squares.
I'll take the dying boy to block.
Okay, Jeremy, is there anything lower than absolute zero?
Yeah, my white cell count.
Oh, I'm telling you, Chris is dying 10 times worse than those other kids. He's got a very rare disease called tumor syphilis itis.
Sounds sexy. What are the symptoms?
What are the symptoms? Take a look. He's growing nipples all over his body.
They look like pepperonis.
Who do you think you are? My son happens to be very sensitive about his extra nipples. See, look, they're coming right off. Nipples shouldn't just come off like that.
Why, that's the sickest boy I've ever seen. Get me the president of television.
Rest in peace to the legendary and multi-talented Martin Mull. An anthology about the bad, the short-lived, and the forgotten shows and events in television history. This is It Was a Thing on TV.
Before I change my mind! I give you Super Train.
Episode 481. Submission 2235. We the People 200. The Constitution Parade. We the People 200. The Constitution Parade aired on September 17th, 1987. On the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Constitution. Well, guys, it's the 4th of July, and, well, as we often do for the 4th of July, we try to have, like, some kind of celebration for America. A couple of years ago, we had the Bicentennial Minute. I think last year we had the Great American Telephone Game.
3 years ago, we had perhaps one of the greatest episodes of It's Always Sunny ever. The gang wrestles for the troops.
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever.
That's my line. Don't steal it. This is the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Constitution. So we're going to have a parade. We're going to have a special parade to honor the signing of the Constitution. I believe it's in Philly. And this comes courtesy of the Rochester TV archive on the YouTubes. Well, guys, it's 1987 on CBS. So who do you think they'll get to host something extravagant like this? Oh, Chico.
Brent Musburger.
That's right. Because let's be quite honest, guys. In 1987, Brent Musburger was like everywhere on CBS. He was like, what? The host of the NBA Finals. He did, of course, the NFL Today. Did college football for CBS. Probably some other stuff, too.
I mean, you're talking about the face of the franchise, Brent Musburger.
Yeah. And, of course, we would not be remiss if we did not mention You Are Looking Live, which was the NFL Today documentary that aired prior to the Super Bowl earlier this year. We're going to have like a little parade here. We're going to play the audio. Kind of feels like we're going back in time a bit and seeing people march in Revolutionary War costumes.
Uniforms are patterned after those worn by the musicians who marched in General George Washington's army.
Our first float is now coming into view, and it's the wheelwright float, featuring field and apparel making equipment.
Now, there there are many who claim that primitive man's greatest leap forward in his slow journey towards civilization was the invention of the wheel. And in colonial America, the wheel was still made by hand. And this float, a replica of one that appeared in the Grand Federal Procession of 1788, honors the craftsmen who assembled them. They were called wheelwrights, and at least 3 men, each with different skills, were required to finish the job.
I gotta say, it's very impressive to see at this parade people like making wood.
Well, making the wheel while the float is moving, that's got to be a bit of a challenge.
Chico, you have anything to say?
I was just in awe about all of the work and attention to detail that goes into that sort of thing. And to do it all while you're on a moving float being carried by a horse. That's just incredible.
Doing it on a horse.
First of all, we know they're good musicians as they march along here in their striking colonial garb, playing a famous Revolutionary War song called The 1st of September. Now, a sailing master in colonial times was the 3rd in command of a ship. He had to trim the sails, this present group of sailing masters was formed in 1963 in Essex, Connecticut. And the members come from all walks of life. They are students, lawyers, and businessmen. Now, this is the 1st American Regiment.
Now, hold on. I got this pause here. What does that flag look like? It looks kind of like a light bluish color.
I think that might be just like a trick of the light or the trick of the camera or something. But it may very well be like some sort of black and white pre-revolutionary flag, I guess.
Is this kind of like the dress? You remember the dress?
Yeah, I remember the dress.
The dress. Oh my gosh. Talk about another flashback to a decade ago. Now, I've got a separate theory about that. I wonder if that flag might be an original flag from 200 years earlier, which might explain for the faded colors.
I see that.
Yeah, I think that might make sense because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on the moon, the actual like flag that like Neil Armstrong put like 50 years ago is now like completely discolored. So that theory might make sense, Mike.
Well, not just discolored because of the sunlight, but also I think if you think about how they made the colors back 200 years ago, the dyes, I mean, yeah, I think just over time it's going to disintegrate and discolor. So I think my theory might have a little bit of like truth to it.
That is the Federalist, the ship of state. That's been a symbol of government since the time of ancient Greece. What you're seeing is an actual seagoing vessel. This is famous and important to colonial America as it still is today. Brought to us in a 15-foot replica by the Maryland Federalist Foundation, which also created the original back in 1788.
It looks like one of those, you know, those sailboats you see like on a desk?
In a bottle?
In a bottle. Yeah, this is what it looks like. This is the IRL version of that.
But answer me this. Why does the guy on the boat look like he's going to control a gondola? He looks like he should be going down like in Venice, you know, singing like songs. Oh, solo mio. Yeah, he looks like a gondolier.
He does.
You're not wrong, Mike.
How are you? Nice to see you, sir.
Get out, Larry. Larry.
Let's welcome the group first formed in 1783 among military families of useful friendship and aid.
The view of the harbor here in Philadelphia from the Goodyear blimp. Our celebration.
Okay, so We went into commercial break, so now we're going to go back to Brent here. Now, thankfully, the good folks at the Rochester TV archive, or whoever recorded this, cut all the commercials except for like 7 seconds, one commercial, which, Mike, you saw.
No, I'm not talking about that commercial. No.
No. We're not going to talk about it, but let's just say it didn't age well.
Oh, it aged horribly, especially the last 5-6 years.
All right, let's get back to Brent here.
Philadelphia's Independence Mall. 200 years ago, our weather was bright and clear. That is not the case this afternoon. Some of the umbrellas are being broken out here, and there is rain in the skies in Philadelphia. But it can't rain on our great celebration. You know, festivities, as I mentioned, are going on at other historic landmarks throughout the city. For example, Penn's Landing, the spot on the bank of the Delaware River where William Penn first set foot in the New World back in 1682. Later, at the time of the Constitution, this was a very busy port. It was crammed with warehouses, lined with ships unloading after trips from as far away as China, bringing tea, cocoa, and silk. 10 years ago, the Landing became a city park where folks can picnic and enjoy concerts here. And 10 years ago, the Landing became a city park where people can go all the time and bring their families. And tonight, the whole area will be jammed with millions of folks to enjoy the giant fireworks display. What's happening out there right now? Well, let's find out from our special correspondent, Ann Butler. Ann?
Well, Brent, at this very second, it's raining a bit here on Penn's Landing, but that hasn't dampened spirits at all, and as a matter of fact, the parade of ships is already underway. We're looking south now along the Delaware River. If you can make it out in the haze, the Walt Whitman Bridge is there far behind me, and...
Oh, wait, the Walt Whitman Bridge? Where's Homer Simpson say, "Damn you, Walt Whitman! I hate you, Walt Whitman! Leaves of grass my ass, Walt Whitman!" Can we just describe what's in the background here for the audio listeners?
Well, right now, they're having the parade of sail on Penn's Landing in Pennsylvania, where there's a park there now. But like there's a parade on the street, there's also a parade of sail, and that's what they're doing off the coast of Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think you got like a ship here. I don't know if that's like a small cruise ship or something. I don't know what you call this thing here that's got like all this water coming out. But yeah, it looks awesome.
Just in the foreground, bringing up the rear in a midst of tall ships that have passed us by, is the Royal Viking Star, a huge cruise liner flanked by a couple of fireboats that are providing a patriotic deluge of red, white, and blue, only food coloring, folks. The Royal Viking Sky is really a testament to the state of the art in seagoing vessels today. This is a 672-foot cruise liner containing 2 pools, 3 lounges. By the way, Brent, you might be interested to know that's 2.5 football fields long. This ship is 13 stories high. It has 2 bars and a movie theater.
Okay, now I did some live research on that ship. So the Royal Viking Sky, also known as the MV Boudica, was built in 1973 in Finland. And sadly, in May of 2021, the ship was beached in Turkey for scrapping. Aww.
It's a beautiful sight out here. There are still folks lining the way in spite of the drizzle that's beginning to come down. Perhaps if he'd seen this sight here in Philadelphia today, Paul Revere might have known we had nothing to fear from the British by sea, and he would have been content to say, "One if by land."
We the People 200, the Constitution Parade, live from Philadelphia, sponsored by City Corps, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive. And by Final Net Hairspray. A little Final Net goes a long, long way.
Oh, okay, I see what she said. Yeah, it's spraying like red and blue, like water, food coloring. So, okay, I see it now.
The Constitution Parade with Brent Musburger will continue.
Ladies and
the Brigade of the American Revolution, passing right by, a National Historical Association founded in 1962, as we continue to celebrate our Constitution, a signing of 200 years ago. One of the most remarkable works to have been produced by the human intellect at a single stroke. That a rave about our Constitution from the British statesman Gladstone. Today we are honoring it. Some of these events staged by this brigade can be rather elaborate. They gather at a designated site. The various units set up 18th century military camps, complete with soldiers' tents, officers' marquees, and cooking areas. And the beginning of the new era in America, and what better way to celebrate it than one of the treasured flags, usually kept in the Francis Tavern in New York City, now carried by a colonial patriot on horseback, 17th of September, 1787. Battling the rain in Philadelphia this morning. And that music you hear in the background is from the President's March as we see the flag coming by.
Led by New York's Francis Tavern Museum, carried by members of the Constitution flag.
You know, a man named Jacob Smallis wrote our Constitution for $30. He engrossed it, meaning he wrote it in its final form, and the 4 sheets of parchment were vellum.
Now, you can't see this in the audio, but you can see, like, this guy here in this float, like, I don't know what he's doing. He's, like, smashing something. What is it he's doing right there?
He's churning butter, Greg.
Oh, he's churning butter?
He's churning butter.
Oh, I thought he was, like, smashing something with a hammer, but okay, he's churning butter.
Those are butter creamers on that float.
Wait, what did you say they were?
They're butter creamers, Greg.
Just keep going.
I was going to make a reference to the Buttercream Gang, but okay.
I've seen the Buttercream Gang, dude.
And you know what that movie is? And
An abomination. Oh, sorry.
No, you know what I think of that movie?
It stinks.
Put it in its final form, and the 4 sheets of parchment were vellum, the skin of a lamb or a calf. And he stretched it, scraped it, and dried it. You can imagine what he would get to do that now. Well, there's the village smithy stands under the spreading chestnut tree. Longfellow paid tribute to the village blacksmith with those words, and passing before us, the strong hands are busily at work in another recreation from the grand procession of 1788. Now, speaking of the sea, here's a float, and just below it is the frame that represents a boat builder's shop. Now, the Ancient Mariners Fife and Drum Corps coming into view. They are made up of cannoneers and pirates. Their group of voyagers was founded in 1959 on the 4th of July. The songs they play are the songs of the sea. They're right at home in the rain, aren't they, folks?
I gotta say, this is getting incredibly weird right now. We had like a guy that was shirtless, like fighting people, and we had this guy here. I guess he's holding a big spoon with like a sweet mustache there.
Remember, they're supposed to be pirates.
Oh, that is true. They are supposed to be pirates. Were there any pirates in the Revolutionary War?
Privateers, probably.
Mike, in the history books, do you see anything about pirates in the American Revolution?
You're asking a person who hasn't taken American history in 35 years.
I'm just asking questions.
Well, I'm doing some quick research, and Chico, I think, was right about what he said. It says 55,000 sailors served as privateers in the Revolutionary War. Patriot pirates during the Revolutionary War mostly remained in the Long Island Sound as their sanctuary.
Oh, okay. So that explains why SUNY Maritime here is called the Privateers. Second straight week we've referenced the D3 NCAA program, because last week we mentioned Tufts, and this week we mentioned SUNY Maritime.
Now we will honor the boat builders. It's from the Philadelphia Maritime Museum, and it too is a recreation of a craft that participated in the federal procession of 1788. Back in the 18th century, it took 2.5 months to make a boat like this barge. This boat was built to the specifications of the 1788 original, 18 feet long by 8 feet wide by 13 feet high. Americans are a friendly people. We like to get a first name off a nickname basis with other people, even celebrities and VIPs. We say Liz Taylor, Dick Nixon, and Ronnie Reagan. And that's true here in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, especially when you move from Independence Mall over to City Hall. As we'll find out from CBS News special White House correspondent Susan Spencer.
Brent, this is Billy Penn. At least that's what Philadelphians affectionately call him. He is fresh from a year-long cleaning job, looking out over the scaffolding, now able to look down at the parade when it comes by here. And also at this giant clothespin behind us, a sculpture by Klaus Oldenburg. Fortunately, with us to explain this sort of kind of weird juxtaposition and also to hold the umbrella is the director of the Philadelphia Museum of Art, Robert Montgomery Scott. Did this strike?
Now, hold on. Before we get to this interview with the person from the Philadelphia Museum of Art, I should note I've actually been to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. And you know what I got from the Philadelphia Museum of Art? I got this pen here. You see this pen I'm holding right here?
What's on top? I can't tell what that is.
It's supposed to be like a paintbrush. And you open it, and the pen comes out.
It's fashion and function.
I'm sorry, I don't have anything like that. The closest I've got is from a relative who worked at Progressive. I've got a little Progressive pen here with hair, and the pen's down here, though, you see? But I got a cutesy-wootsy pen, too, though.
Is that supposed to be Flow?
I'm guessing there's a name tag on here, but it's so dang small. It's time to pull out the jeweler's loop to see what it says. Yeah, it says Flow. It's supposed to be Flow.
Okay, good. Only on this podcast could we talk about a pen from the Philadelphia Museum of Art segueing to a pen that has a crappy caricature of Flow on it.
And the utilization of a loop, not really a jeweler's loop, but a cheapo loop I got from Harbor Freight. We are not just entertaining, we're also educational and informative.
We are classy.
Now let's not take it that far.
Just wait until later. We'll shed that classy label, of course.
Strike people as a little odd when this thing first showed up?
No, it's typical of Philadelphia, I think, where we have wonderful juxtapositions of a rather pompous, huge Billy pen sticking up there, and then the largest clothespin in the world. My brother, who's not as much into art as I am, looked at the clothespin and went...
But in 20 or 30 years, are people going to even know what a clothespin is? I mean, people don't even use them now much.
Don't they?
I don't think so. I'm
an old-fashioned Philadelphian. I still use clothespin. The Billy pen up there is quite exciting, though, because it's one of 3 generations of Calder statues along the Parkway. The first one is Billy Penn, done by Alexander Milne Calder. That is the largest statue atop a building in the world. Then there is a fountain halfway out the parkway along the parade route, which is by Alexander Sterling Calder, his son. And then inside the Philadelphia Museum of Art, my home away from home, which incidentally is open today, there is a mobile by Alexander Calder. And it's really quite unique to have 3 generations of major American sculptors represented within a mile and a tenth.
Continuity and a clothespin.
That's what Philadelphia's about.
Thank you very much. Fred, back to you.
All right, get him up, Fred.
Well, the view from the Goodyear Blimp Enterprise of Philadelphia is our celebration, a birthday party, if you will, for the Constitution continues with our parade. You know, while you're visiting Independence Mall, you'll want to stop in Old City Hall to see one of the most historically important documents for us all, the Magna Carta. It was signed by King John of England in 1215, generally considered to be the forerunner of the United States Constitution. In Hollingsworth, the descendant of Alexander Hamilton, Roger Sherman and Robert Morris, both of whom bear the identical names of their forebears.
So I'm just going to assume that right now, these people marching are holding like the signs with the names of like the people who signed the Constitution. And I guess that would include like famous names like what? John Hancock. Did John Hancock sign the Constitution, or am I thinking of the Declaration of Independence?
You're thinking of Declaration of Independence.
Okay. Well, who signed the Constitution? I gotta find this out. Live research, folks. James Madison signed the Constitution. Alexander Hamilton signed the Constitution. Ben Franklin signed the Constitution. And that's about it. Oh, and George Washington, I think, signed it too. So that's all the names I can recognize. Oh, some guy named Roger Sherman signed it. Okay.
The Grand Federal Edifice. Originally, it was planned to have 13 classic Corinthian columns to represent each of the states and support a stately dome, the Constitution. But as you can see, 3 of the columns are missing, except for top and foot. Those of New York, North Carolina, and Rhode Island that had not yet ratified the Constitution. On top of that dome was a smaller temple of immigrants, and above it, the Greek goddess Ceres, holding her cornucopia or horn of plenty.
Oh, I guess we'll never know what the answer to this commercial is. Is your liquid cleanser safe enough to pass the scratch guard test? I'll take a safe guess. No. Oh, another bright idea.
For the common defense, and now we're moving on to promote the general welfare. The founding fathers had to conduct their long deliberations here without the benefit of electric lights, nor was there a telephone on hand. We did not enter the golden age of inventions until nearly a century later, in the 1870s. Thomas Edison gave us the light bulb and the phonograph, and Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone.
Now, Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. Now, do you know what the first thing Alexander Graham Bell ever said on the telephone was?
Please tell us, Uncle Greg.
He said to his assistant, Mr. Watson, Mr. Watson, come here. I want you. Which in 2024 could be interpreted in a totally different way.
You know what the second phone call ever made said?
What?
We've been trying to reach you about your car's warranty.
It was so stupid, but so funny.
Of these 2 ladies here on this float next to this big light pole.
You know what I thought Chico was going to say about what the second phone call was? Sorry, wrong number.
Oh, jeez.
I liked his better, though.
And right behind them, the Long Lake Kazoo Gals. Different kind of a band.
Oh, the Long Lake Kazoo Gals. Oh, from Long Lake, New York. And yeah, they got their kazoos. Mike, did you ever have a kazoo?
It's been a long time, but I had a kazoo.
Okay, guys, 1603. I've been hyping this up. This is freedom's bountiful harvest. Now, Mike, can you share with us what my first reaction was when I saw this scarecrow thing.
No, I want you to say it.
Okay. This reminds me of like Wurzel Gummidge. That's right. This reminds me of John Pertwee as Wurzel Gummidge. And really, I don't think it gets more American than having like one of the doctors being represented at your parade.
I'm sorry, I just pulled up an image of Wurzel Gummidge. Oh my gosh. You're not wrong, Craig. It does look like Wurzel Gummidge.
Maybe one of the people who made this float was like a big Wurzel Gummidge fan, and he thought, you know what, I'm going to make something very impressive. Because John Pertwee was still with us in 1987, so he probably thought, if he saw this, he'd be like, holy shit, somebody made a float based on me as Wurzel Gummidge.
And you know what? That would be pretty cool.
The only thing missing would be some kind of tribute to Patrick Trout, who we sadly lost in 1987, but oh well. All right, let's see what Brent has to say about this.
Now, this float speaks for itself. 200 years ago, we began as a nation of farmers. The Industrial Revolution and the growth of the cities into huge commercial centers did not occur until the 19th century. One of the most prosperous of the Virginia planters was George Washington. His crops down on Mount Vernon.
There's like freaking living celery walking.
When did this become a VeggieTales episode, I wonder?
This is like the darkest VeggieTales episode I've ever. We got it all. We got Wurzel Gummidge and we got the VeggieTales represented.
And now Mummers.
No, wait, hold on. I did not think you were going to go a VeggieTales episode. Seriously, I thought where you were going to go is those monsters that were in the aisles of Supermarket Sweep in the first season. This giant stalk of celery chasing you down the aisle. Oh no! Run away from the monster celery!
See, I remember Mr. Yuck, but I do not remember the monster celery.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, it looks like some sort of monster celery that would chase you down the aisles. Kids, get out of this aisle! I'm nutritious! Roar!
Can't talk, the big broccoli's gonna eat me. Can't talk, the big broccoli's gonna eat me.
City String Band. Yeah, a great time to visit Philadelphia's New Year's Day for that famous Mummers Parade.
I've got to say, I'm sad that it's not like 31 years later, because you know Jason Kelsey would be having a blast at this parade.
He's got the wardrobe for it.
Now, Mike, was that not one of the greatest moments in history? Jason Kelsey at the Eagles parade.
Was it one of the greatest moments in like history or just like parade history?
History.
Oh, it was amazing. I definitely take him dressed up as a mummer rather than Jason Kelsey at the Super Bowl this year shirtless.
Or did you see the image of Jason Kelsey at WrestleMania in the lucha mask with Lane Johnson?
I did not see that.
Oh,
I saw that.
Yeah, that's right. We talked about that. So when this is done, Mike, Google search Jason Kelsey WrestleMania lucha mask. And here you go. But I love this guy right here. This guy's got some rhythm. This guy's like dancing and shit.
He's basically dancing in what amounts to an elaborate masked singer costume without the mask. Those things are heavy, and he's just working it. You gotta love it.
And they're all playing like their banjos and stuff. That's pretty awesome.
Why do they look like a bunch of Iron Sheiks? Look at them, especially the ones in the front. They look like Sheiky Baby.
You know, what could be more American than having like Iron Sheik humble somebody at this parade? They could get that jabroni Brian Blair, and they could have like a live humbling. But oh, look who's with Brent at the parade now. It's Dr. J, Julius Irving. And Mike, I think Dr. J would have just retired, right? In 87?
1987, I'm pretty sure he retired. I don't think he made it to 88.
you have like any stats from his last year on Basketball Reference?
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, his final season was 86-87. And in that season, he would have been 36 years old. And in terms of scoring, still 16.8 points per game at 36. That's not bad. And was even an all-star that year.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And he would have been aside Charles Barkley, because Barkley, as we mentioned, was drafted in 84. So he would have spent 3 years with Charles Barkley.
Yeah. Okay, now let's see what Brett and Dr. J have to say about these floats coming up right here.
Secret Serviceman will come out and he will speak.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Yeah. Ronald Reagan's plane has arrived, so he's going to be speaking to all of us here on It Was the Thing on TV in a few moments. So that should be very exciting. I'm very excited every Thanksgiving to talk to Mr. Reagan, and I'm so happy he's going to be with us for this show. So for this celebration of the Constitution, I can't wait for that. But yeah, let's get back to these floats. And oh, what the hell is that? I have no idea what this is.
I believe it's the grand and glorious tradition of theater.
Oh, the theater. Okay.
What you're looking at here in Independence Hall, interestingly enough, is the back of the hall. The front of it is really on the side away from the street as the floats come by. And Doc, I know that a lot of folks have spent so much time here in Philadelphia getting ready for this parade. It has really turned out with the balls and the parties and all the breakfasts around town. This city is really in behind this.
Oh, the city's full-fledged behind this. This is an event in Philadelphia. It's something that people have been anticipating, I guess, really since...
Are these like dancers, these ballet dancers on like stilts? It looks like they're on stilts. No, they're not on stilts. They just look very tall to me.
It's the camera.
Well, now there's some people on stilts coming up right here.
And now noted thespian Colleen Dewhurst.
Yeah. Oh, Mickey Mouse.
Nothing says America like Mickey Mouse. You know, Disney's America aside.
And we also know that Mickey did sign the Constitution.
Yeah, not many people know that Mickey Mouse was actually an original signer of the Constitution back in the day.
Ha! Where do I sign on this thing? Ha ha! It was something like that.
Now, guys, I don't know if you know this, but we on this show actually do have an original signer of the Constitution.
I didn't sign a thing. You can't prove anything.
Look, Whammy, I think it's well known that you signed the Constitution. I know you're trying to be modest, but you did have a hand in the creation of our country.
Creation or destruction? I rest my case.
Why not both?
So the arts are such a big part of our culture. And that's what this part of the parade is celebrating right now. So who will ever forget Fred Astaire, the man who brought to the world that dancing style and grace that put him in a class by himself? He was simply the supreme master of his craft. So it's fitting now that the young men in the float honoring the tradition of American entertainment should be decked out in those top hats and tails that were certainly his special trademark.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you talk about the artistry that you see on a basketball court and on the athletic field, but I don't think anyone showed any more grace, coordination, and style than Fred Astaire.
Yeah, he was a man who possessed a lot of great moves, didn't he?
And when you combine a bit of theater, a bit of showmanship, a bit of music and dance, that's
The young ambassador's performance with That's Entertainment.
Young ambassadors with that classic I Got Rhythm.
That float moved a little bit too far from center to be directly in front of the crowd before they started their routine down here to our right. And we can see President Reagan and his staff.
I love that they're getting Air Force One ready for the president while we're trying to have this performance that's coming up not F up. Okay, let's see if they get this performance ready.
Do the stage wait, I think, before they begin the actual performance here on the street.
Start already! What's going on here? Okay, they're just cutting back to Air Force One.
They have to show something.
Yeah, we're seeing all these people get off the planes. Okay, I think we're finally about to start. Here we go.
So the young ambassadors with their routine now.
We waited like 3 minutes for that.
They might have scoped out the audio for obvious reasons.
Oh, they could have. Oh, look, it's Mr. Reagan. He's coming off the plane.
I just want to say it is good to be back in Pittsburgh.
No, Ron, we're in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. It is good to be back in Philadelphia, where Rambo climbed up the stairs and freed America from all of the trees that were there.
And we will continue in just a moment. Doc, they know you're here. They didn't.
The celebration here in Philadelphia continues. Walter Cronkite and I only hope we can make ourselves heard over the thunder.
Oh, Walter Cronkite's here, everybody.
The elder statesman, the last great American of the 80s.
Of the 80s? How about the 20th century?
There you go.
The rain is coming down. The parade goes on. You're the Grand Marshal of the parade.
One of them. There are quite a few Grand Marshals involved. I think several people are being honored in that role.
They had sort of a tough job trying to do a parade on things that are sort of abstract thoughts, liberty, freedom.
Well, you know, somebody said earlier today or asked me why they thought this celebration of the Constitution wasn't quite as big a deal as the celebration of our independence, July 4th. And I think it's because of our medium of television. You know, we're a hot medium, they say. McLuhan said it. I want to quote anybody I might mention. But McLuhan said we're a hot medium, and we are. The 4th of July is fireworks and all that. This is more cerebral, more intellectual.
Intellectual, and yet these people are having a parade.
I tell you, these Philadelphians are so enthusiastic. It's a magnificent parade, and being in it, coming down the parade route, despite the rain, they're right up against the buildings, from the gutters up. They're 12 deep, 10 deep, and happy and cheering, and it's great spirit.
And slightly wet. We'll go back to the parade.
All right, Susan and Walter. Rain cannot dampen the enthusiasm of this Philadelphia high school band here. I'm with Julius Irving.
I'll tell you, Brent, you know, rain has never dampened the enthusiasm of a parade in Philadelphia. I've found in the last 11 years that I've been here that this city loves parades, whether it's the Mummers Parade, Easter celebration, Thanksgiving Day parade, or a championship parade, what have you. There's never been a parade that's been poorly attended in Philadelphia.
The band hailing from Schönbrunn Village, a National Historic Site because it was the location of the first schoolhouse. That was in the state of Ohio. 150 members of this band.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the For Love of Sport float, the one, the only, Smokin' Joe Frazier.
Yeah, and not only do we get Joe Frazier, we get these kids doing these, like, what the hell are they doing on these bikes?
They're doing sick bike tricks is what they're doing.
Yeah, about as sick as you can get on the rain right here.
And a sick scooter trick, too.
Been popular throughout the centuries in the United States, the sport of fishing. Boy, that represents every fantasy I've ever had, huh? The big one that got away, folks, right there.
I think that one's a little larger than any boat that I've ever been in.
You know,
Mike, what's your reaction to this fish?
Are we sure that's not the model for the fish skeleton in the Great Space Coaster? It's the Great Space Coaster. Get
Shut
up,
up, Jimmy!
Good Family Guy reference there, Chico. Points.
Oh boy, my own maid. This is gonna kick more ass than that magical ride I took.
It's the Great Space Coaster. Get on board on the Great Space Coaster. We'll explore a private ride of fantasy to a place where dreams fly fast and free. With new friends and new things to see, we'll spin you through the galaxy.
Well, we are officially lost.
On the Great Space Coaster.
Shut up, Ricky. Just shut up right now. Unless the next words out of your mouth are directions how to get back to the fish skeleton, I'm gonna punch you right in the stomach.
City band coming down the street. You all know one of its most famous alums, Bill Cosby.
Oh no! No! We don't know yet.
Don't tell Brent. He doesn't know.
Okay, I'm going to say something stupid. Since I was actually trying to look for the Great Space Coaster clip on Family Guy, what did I miss?
We have the Temple University Marching Band. They're a great marching band. And then
wait. If you said Temple University, is there a certain person that is connected with Temple University who did some really bad stuff? Is that who you're talking about?
Yes.
That's all I needed to know. I'm going to go back to my search now.
All right, let's use up on this float.
Being displayed. You think of the colleges that are in the Big Five: Villanova, Temple, St. Joe's, Penn.
You know, Doc, I'm sure you watched some of the America's Cup races on TV last winter. You recognize this beauty. That's the Victoria Stars and Stripes with the trophy itself, the America's Cup on display.
Now, for those that don't remember back in the day in the 80s, ESPN, before they showed so much stupid crap now with like debate shows that suck and all that, back in the day, they would air this stupid yacht race all the damn time. Mike, I'm sure you have fond memories of watching the America's Cup on ESPN.
Again, I was researching for the clip of the Great Space Coaster on Family Guy, so I totally missed everything you said.
Well, they got the America's Cup winning team right here.
Oh, they were big in 1987.
Yeah, everyone was watching the America's Cup. That was like one of the reasons to watch ESPN back in the day.
Is Ted Turner on there?
No, he's not on there. Now, I know Ted Turner did like own like a boat on the America's Cup.
Yeah, I think it was the Stars and Stripes, which won the America's Cup in 87.
Then that is it. That's the Stars and Stripes. No Ted on the float, which is sad because could you imagine like Will Forte's Ted Turner on the float with Teddy Jr.?
Yeah.
Maybe I should go back to looking up the Great Space Coaster clip one more time.
Yeah. Earlier they mentioned the Big Five. The Philadelphia Big Five, as it existed in 1987, were LaSalle, Temple, Penn, St. Joe's, and Villanova. They have since added Drexel University, but they are still known as the Big Five.
So it's like a Big Ten situation, even though they now have like 18 teams.
Right.
Well, and also the Big Five is a very informal, not a league. They're just like the 5 colleges, universities in the Philadelphia area.
And now we have the Wheels of Fortune.
Da 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 da.
No, it's not that, Mike. But it's really impressive they're doing this in a rain-soaked street.
Roller disco in the rain. That takes precision.
Okay, this that we're getting to now, I've seen these people in the past. It's like a choreographed troupe of like business people in suits Yes, I've seen this somewhere. I
America.
don't know what the group is called. I didn't see a name or anything like that. But I've seen that before.
Maybe Brent will tell us who they are.
Yeah, let's see what Brent says about these people.
The arrival of the President of the United States, who will speak here this morning, and the briefcase drill team coming by.
There you go, the synchronized briefcase drill team.
They work with those briefcases. The members are actually working brokers, bankers, investment counselors. Let's watch.
Wait, hold on. Did that lady like bump her cheek into the camera?
Why, yes. Yes, she did.
Oh my god. Oh, jeez. Oh, by the way, while we're looking at this, I have some CNN breaking news to tell you.
This is CNN breaking news.
The New York Mets are now 12-2 since Grimace threw out the first pitch. Okay, so I'm watching the Apple TV Plus broadcast of the Mets-Astros game now that it's over. I think there's going to be like some post-game concert or something, because it looks like everything at Citi Field is like a rave or something. It looks pretty hot. But oh, wait. We got robots. What the hell? Mike, what would you describe this? It looks like the...
It looks like Wall-E, like 20 years before Wall-E.
No, it doesn't look like Wall-E. You know what it looks like? It looks like the robot from Rocky IV.
With an inflatable head.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Only thing that's missing is it saying, "Happy birthday, Paulie." Now it looks like the love child of Johnny Five and the robot from Rocky IV. Don't tell me that you're not thinking the same thing.
Gathered here to form a new nation. That first robot was a mechanical spring-loaded duck that flapped its wings and quacked. And look where we've gotten since that primitive start.
Oh, I see what they did now. One of the robots was basically a Ivan Drago cosplay, which would explain that. And now we have a robot dog, which looks similar to, but legally distinct from, K9.
It does! It does look like K9! Holy shit! Mike doesn't know what he's missing. I don't know what Mike's doing right now. Mike.
It's called research.
Look at this.
Yes, I see K9. I heard you guys.
Okay, good. Oh, my brother just texted me about the Mets thing. Oh my god, on Apple TV he's watching the same thing I am.
Who are the Mets playing tomorrow?
They played Houston tonight.
Good. Houston sucks. Cheating bastards. I don't care if it was 7 years ago.
It was 7 years ago, and it didn't involve your team, and your team wasn't fucked out of a manager because of it. Yeah, I'm still bitter Beltran got fired when he didn't deserve to be fired in the first place. But, okay, that's neither here nor there. Let's resume.
We realize that in our lifetime, our streets might be patrolled by figures such as the one that's passing in front of us right now, RoboCop himself. It's just mind-blowing, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a fierce-looking character, Doc.
If he said hands up, I'd have to put mine up.
He's just walking, guys.
Look, guys, isn't there anything to represent America more than RoboCop? Isn't that the most American thing ever to celebrate the 200th anniversary of our Constitution? RoboCop.
And somehow somebody got the idea to turn it into a kid's show.
Yeah, that's what's messed up. Like in the 80s, they made like cartoons of R-rated properties all over the place. They did that, and they did that with Rambo. Like, what the hell? But oh, we got Indiana University. We got their like marching band out here. Now hold on a second. Do you think like they could have gotten Bobby Knight for this parade, and he probably could have choked somebody during this parade? Like, what would be more American on this parade than look, Mike's doing research and he's cracking up. He's like dead. Yeah, he knows deep inside that would be great if like Bobby Knight like choked somebody at this parade. Like maybe he would choke like one of the mums guys and just choke them.
And that did happen in 86, 87, so it's very timely. But yeah, I'm in the middle of doing research, and Greg says another thing to crack me up. And I actually got the clip from the Great Space Coaster. You heard it earlier in this episode, but now I'm doing a little bit more research, which is equally relevant.
Now my brother just texted me back. This Mets team with the 2015 pitching staff would have been amazing. And I have to agree. That lineup with the 2015 pitching staff would have been the hottest team in Major League Baseball. Tell me I'm not wrong. Exactly. Did you find anything else from the Great Space Coaster?
No, the Great Space Coaster's taken care of. I'm doing something else.
Oh, okay. What the hell? Oh, Third Degree.
So I mentioned earlier, when they had the people with the briefcases dancing and twirling and whatnot, I said it looked familiar. I was going through the Klaus archives, and I found a press photo from the television show Third Degree. Show we don't talk about that often. And it has two images of these people in suits and briefcases doing their little maneuvers, their dancing and whatnot. I told you it looked familiar.
Indiana University of Pennsylvania strikes up the music.
Oh, this is the Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Not too many people know there's an Indiana University of Pennsylvania in Pennsylvania.
And there's a California University in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. You know what's even more confusing? There was an Indiana University, Purdue University of Indianapolis.
IUPUI!
Yeah.
Horizon League, baby!
I think that's now Fort Wayne.
Yeah, I think they changed the name a couple of years ago.
No, it's still IUPUI.
Well, maybe one of the other campuses became Fort Wayne. Whatever.
By the time you are listening to this, IUPUI will have split into two separate universities, Indiana University, Indianapolis, and Purdue University in Indianapolis. So the two of them have officially split.
If two Big Ten schools can't get along to share a college, I don't know what's left in this universe.
I think the appearance by the president is a moment that everybody really has anxiously been waiting for. It'll be interesting to see what type of reception he's going to get.
Oh, man, I agree, Dr. J. I can't wait to see the reception that Ronald Reagan's going to receive. I bet it's going to be off the hook. You know, we're going to have him here on this show, you know, to deliver a very special message, and I'm sure it's going to be just amazing. But, on Freedom Strong Foundations, let's hear what has to say about this.
Parade float ever constructed. Towering monument to the American labor movement presented by the Delaware Valley Real Estate and Development Community. Those workers represent the various trade unions within the AFL-CIO, carpenters, iron workers, plumbers, and all the other trades that have made this country so strong.
Build union, buy union.
Oh, we got these cars for the president's cavalcade. And now we see like the limo that has Reagan in it, and it's going through this rocky road here. Getting all the cars out. And now, oh no.
We mentioned earlier it didn't age well. We just hit that part of the commercial breaks.
Oh, Morris Brown College. Do we have any information about Morris Brown College?
It is a private Methodist, historically black liberal arts college in Atlanta.
Oh.
Not only that, the first educational institution in Georgia to be owned and operated entirely by African Americans.
Well, let's salute to that.
And among the alumni of Morris Brown College, Nene Leakes and comedian, I'm sure you probably heard of this comedian, some more. Or maybe you've heard of her sister a little less.
Boo!
I tried.
The blessings of liberty. Liberty we fought for in the past. Liberty we must struggle to safeguard in the future.
Okay, Chico.
One more famous alum, Mike. Real World alumni and former host of Hole in the Wall, Tech Holmes.
Never thought we'd get a Tech Holmes reference on this podcast.
And also Timo from Goody Mob and Dungeon Family.
Ooh, Timo from Goody Mob and Dungeon Family.
When the convention finally ended 200 years ago today, even some supporters of the new Constitution were concerned that a strong central government would endanger individual liberties won in the Revolution. That concern was a dominant theme in the ratification debates that followed in the state assemblies, and it triggered the demand for amendments to the Constitution. Thus was born the Bill of Rights. And the first float passing pays tribute to the most vital of those 10 amendments, the one that guarantees the freedom of speech.
And I love how these two girls here are just like printing the Bill of Rights on this printing press right here. And one of the girls is like, extra, extra, read all about these Bill of Rights. Okay, guys, now we've reached the end of this parade where we're going to have President Reagan himself speak. Now, ladies and gentlemen, coming with us right here on It Was a Thing on TV, the one, the only President Ronald Reagan. President Reagan, it's really nice to you to join us here again on It Was a Thing on TV. Do you have anything to say right now, President Reagan, to It Was a Thing on TV loyal listening audience?
I want my binky.
Do you want any jelly beans, Mr. Reagan?
I've got my jelly beans right here. Do you want some?
Oh, yes, I would.
I like the green ones.
Oh, the green. Do you like the red ones?
If you put the green ones and the red ones together, they taste like apple pie.
Oh, there's nothing like apple pie.
If you put the speckled black and white ones with the blue ones, they will make you vomit.
Oh, well, that's terrible. It's good to know. But, Mr. Reagan, I got a question to ask you. It's a very serious question I need to ask. And you know what? I really hope you can answer this for me. Does your wife, Mrs. Reagan, do any type of favors in the Oval Office?
I want my binky now.
Well, Mike, it seems we're never going to get an answer to that question about if Mrs. Reagan did any of those favors in the Oval Office. I guess we'll never know.
She churns a lot of butter in the White House kitchen, and she has 3 or 4 people helping her, but I never get to see it.
I guess we're going to have to get off that subject.
Oh my God. Oh my fucking God.
You're going to hell, Mike Klaus.
And this episode is going to be uncensored. Go America.
Go Broncos.
You know what else is American? This eagle right here at 102.46.
That is a wild eagle.
Now, hold on, guys. Look at this in the bottom left corner. Is this Wilford Brimley's brother?
I knew you were going to say that.
I swear that guy was on the float with Smokin' Joe Frazier.
No, it could be the guy who was with Smokin' Joe on that float. Now that, maybe he wanted to take a big look at this bald eagle.
No, he just walked by the bald eagle.
Oh, I guess he didn't give a crap about this bald eagle. Well, Brent's going to have some closing words, so let's hear these closing words from Brent before we sign off.
As our coverage of today's Constitution Parade draws to a close, I hope I'm not belaboring the obvious when I say that we have so much to be thankful for. As Americans, we are uniquely blessed, and those blessings flow directly from the vision and wisdom of the men who assembled here at Independence Hall 200 years ago. It was the founding fathers and the work they did here that summer of 1787 that set us on the course toward becoming one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm Brent Musburger. On behalf of all of us at CBS, I thank you for joining us on this day of national celebration.
The Constitution.
Nobody cares, lady. We don't want to hear from you. Well, that's the parade now. Do we have any final thoughts about this parade?
Kind of bland without Clifford the big inbred dog.
Yeah, we were missing Clifford the big inbred dog, but we did get Wuzzle Gummidge.
We did get a whole lot of woodworking on a moving float with a bunch of sharp objects.
Yeah, we got some butter churning. Now, hold on.
And so did Nancy.
Good night, everybody.
Hold on, Mr. Reagan's still here. I got a question to ask.
Yes, Gregory. What is your question?
Now, Mr. Reagan, are you a big fan of Doctor Who? Do you watch it on PBS all the time at the Oval Office?
I watch Doctor Who every Saturday night. Channel 26, WETA, Washington. We will watch Doctor Who. I'll get the buttered popcorn. I call my little brother Michael, and we would watch Doctor Who and talk about it. This is as good as it's gonna get, let me tell you. You're not gonna get anything like a video call. We're not living in the age of the Jetsons. This was it because we had the Doctor Who. We could live the future through that, and it was such a sight to behold. My favorite Doctor is the one with the scarf, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I bet you had the scarf on with every episode. You probably had someone at the staff at the White House probably made you a long ass scarf to watch Doctor Who.
I would call Sarah Jane all the time, but she would never answer my phone calls.
Mike, do you have a question?
Yeah, I know that Ronald Reagan's memory is bad. You had a brother named Michael? No, you had a brother named Neil.
Fuck! God damn it!
I love that we broke to bring this up.
Okay, I was just making a little correction.
You can edit that. You can edit that out. I don't mind.
No, I think I'm going to keep all of this in. This is getting, again, I've already said this is going to be uncensored because that's the American way. But Michael Reagan, I believe, was the adopted son.
The adopted son.
Yeah.
He's no Ron Reagan.
Oh, gosh, no.
No, he hosted SNL. He's a national treasure, Ron Reagan.
Ron Reagan hosted SNL. Michael Reagan hosted Lingo. You tell me who the better son was.
It's obviously Patty.
The son? Patty the son?
The daughter.
Well, we're talking about the best son. And now you throw Patty in there and totally
I mean the best
misgender
kid.
her.
You know what I mean. The best kid.
Yes, I'm stirring the pot.
Obviously, the best kid was Patty.
But the best son was Ron. We all know this. All right. Well, we the people, 200, the Constitution Parade. We had Mickey Mouse. We had I don't know why we had RoboCop there.
Are you kidding? That's about as American as it gets. It's a product of corporate America, making the streets safe for you and me.
That's right. And next year, he'll be helping Sting in WCW fight the Four Horsemen.
True story.
That happened. Sting WCW hotline face here. Well, we can certainly say that this was, in 1987, a very educational thing on TV. And now, speaking of educational, we're in the final month. Okay, get used to this. We only got 4 more weeks of this, Mike?
Something like that.
All right, let's go. Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour 40 years ago. Do this.
It's time for This Weekend Match Game. Hollywood Squares. Our history. So as Greg mentioned, this is the fourth to last week of Match Game Hollywood Squares Out. We're starting July of 1984, and by the 27th of the month, Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour is history. This week in the Squares, we have Christina Pickles, Lydia Cornell from Too Close for Comfort, Anson Williams from Happy Days, which is in its final season in 1984, Charles Nelson Riley, Phyllis Diller, Nathan Cook from Hotel, Abby Dalton, and from Fame, Carlo Imperato. We actually have a sort of famous celebrity as a contestant this week. Sort of. Your mileage may vary. On the Tuesday episode, which would have been July 3rd, one of the contestants, and actually he was on the July 2nd episode, but that episode never aired on Buzzer. But we know that there was no big win there. On both the 2nd and 3rd of July episodes is Rob Cervenka, who you might know as the announcer from The Love Connection back 25-ish years ago, but also he was on MXC. He did numerous voices. He hosted Burt Ludden's Love Buffet, if you remember that, on Game Show Network 26 years ago. So he's definitely a known entity, and if you're a big fan of MXC and those types of programs like I am, you know exactly who he is. He was a contestant this week. There were only 3 episodes this week because Wimbledon was happening. So you had episodes on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. You didn't have one on the 4th of July, which you probably wouldn't have had for the holiday, but you also didn't have one on the 6th of July. In terms of big wins this week, well, there weren't any. I mean, there were only 3 episodes, but even though John Cervenka's first episode didn't air, we know he didn't win big then. And he lost on the Tuesday episode, and that person didn't win, and there's no big win on Thursday of that week. So kind of a weird week because it's a very short week because of the holiday and because of Wimbledon. Next week, again, we got 3 weeks left. Everybody is a veteran to the show, except I believe one person. Definitely one person. Maybe a second. I'd have to do a little bit of research on that. But yeah, we're getting to see a bunch of familiar faces. All right, Greg, let's send our little parade home.
Now, hold on, Mike. Before we close this out, I got an amazing discovery to mention.
Oh, okay.
Now, here's the host of Amazing Discoveries, Mike
Klaus.
With Greg Diener. So, Greg, what is your amazing discovery?
Okay, my amazing discovery is, now last week we were talking about Rachel Frost. I found out on Truth by Consensus Wikipedia that she is the niece of the handbag designer, the late Kate Spade.
Really?
Yes. And you know what this also means? That technically, by marriage, Rachel Brosnan is related to David Spade, because Kate Spade was married to the brother of David Spade.
Now that's pretty cool. I've got an amazing discovery, but if you follow us on Facebook, it's not much of an amazing discovery because this was posted about a week ago by me.
Now here's the host of Amazing Discoveries, Mike
Klaus.
So I was watching an episode of South Park probably about 2 weeks ago by the time you hear this, because you'll hear this either the 3rd of July or the 4th of July probably. That's when it should be released. And I posted this, roughly 2 weeks earlier, so probably around the 20th or 19th of June. I was watching the South Park episode, Jared Has AIDS. AIDS, in case you don't know, just so we don't get letters. The boys make a comment that you cannot officially joke about anything until 22.3 years after the event happens. Because they're talking about when can you officially make fun of AIDS, and supposedly the number was 22.3 years, however accurate that is. Well, I did some research. That episode, I don't have the exact date, but it was sometime in March of 2002. So that just got my brain thinking. What is 22.3 years after March? I think it was like March 9th of 2002. And lo and behold, it was the 23rd of June, which was a week and a half ago as of the time you're listening to this. So we can officially, after 22.3 years, joke about Kenny dying. That, my friends, is an amazing discovery.
Yeah, we can all joke about Kenny dying in that fireworks explosion when it was El Polio Loco.
And if the combination of the amazing discovery about Rachel Brosnahan and the amazing discovery of being able to joke about Kenny McCormick, if those haven't blown your socks off, believe it or not, there is a third amazing discovery.
Now here's the host of Amazing Discoveries, Mike
Klaus.
Earlier this week, as we record, so it'd be about a week ago by the time you're hearing this, I was flipping through the TV. I don't remember if it was the actual TV going through my cable or if it was through Friendly TV, which I just got in the last week or so because they have Me TV tunes, which is worth the price of admission if you ask me. But I'm going through the channels and there's the Family Feud episode of Mama's Family. So first season, like February of 1983, so it's still Richard Dawson. And I'm watching just a little segment. I just flipped through it. It just happened to see it's the Family Feud episode. And who comes up to play against one of the Harpers in Face Off? The daughter of the opposing team, who happened to be played by Bonnie Urseth, one of our favorites. That was amazing. And this actually would have been, about 9 months before she, quote unquote, hit it big with We Got It Made? But also, since we're talking about parades, let's not forget she was on the 1983 Thanksgiving Day parade with the cast of We Got It Made. So it sort of ties into this entire episode.
And you had both America's asses on that float. You had Steve Rogers and you had Tom Bullard.
I'm all amazing discovered out. I think it's time to wrap up everything.
Yeah, let's. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. But remember, you can always go to our website, itwasthathingontv.com. You can listen to the 480 episodes that preceded this one. We've got all sorts of great bonuses there, including minisodes, live shows, extended versions of previous episodes, the whole works. And remember, we are on all social media, including Instagram, Threads, Mastodon, over at It Was the Thing on TV, except for Facebook, where we are at It Was the Thing on TV podcast. And remember, if you want to follow us on Mastodon, search for us at It Was the Thing on TV, at TVWatch.party. Now, of course, every Friday, we have the drops of this week's episodes on the Place to Be Nation Pop Experience. If you're listening to this right now. Now, Mike, I did share on the Place to Be Nation Facebook group the AI John Cena at Pizza Place.
Yes, you did.
Last week. And I gotta say, those are some of the most funny. Especially the picture where John Cena's arms are like crossed together.
I was thinking more like fused together, but you're not wrong.
But I do love that he's eating this 2 pieces of pizza backwards, like he's eating stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. Remember, crust first.
He clearly didn't learn how to eat a pizza from Eddie Mecca.
Yeah, those pizza places in West Newbury, Massachusetts, they ain't the best, let me tell you. Remember to subscribe to our podcast wherever fine podcasts we stream you, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Audible, etc. And don't forget, we are on YouTube, where you can like and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell on YouTube to be informed of all future uploads on the channel, including what's coming up on the podcast next time. Well, guys, next week.
Just don't, Greg, don't!
No, I'm talking about we're going to resume our Deadpool and Wolverine theme for the month.
Oh, okay. Then continue.
Well, I'd rather you don't, because we're going to be talking about Don't.
Don't what? Don't stop believing?
No,
don't stop believing. I'm sorry.
We're not talking about the final episode of The Sopranos. We're talking about the show Don't.
Yeah, the stunt show for people who hate stunt shows.
And would you believe we got Adam Scott?
I don't believe it.
Well, believe it or not. We're going to be talking about Adam Scott and Ryan Reynolds again. Even though he clearly is behind the scenes and not playing the drums, thankfully. On the next episode of It Was a Thing on TV. I'm Greg, that was Chico, and that was Mike. And we will see you right here with that episode next week. Wow!
This is for all the Tostitos.
You know what? I bet RoboCop he probably had some Tostitos after the parade.
He would have had to have had them pureed and liquefied and fed him through through his whatever he eats with.
Yeah, how does RoboCop eat? I don't understand.
They explained this in the movie. They give him baby food. Hello.
Oh. You know how much I would pay for that baby food? I'd buy that for $1.